Yes, Pam. Come on, feel better.
Back.
That's what happens though when you spend like a month in Florida.
Right? Pretty much.
Get the. I mean, even under in good days like 2012, you would get.
Oh gosh, remember I call it the Petri dish of the South.
Everybody gets it. The Disney crud.
The Disney crud. Yeah.
I got the Chicago crud.
Man, did you see how the Lions lost?
I didn't even see football. My dad was calling me yesterday. I was trying to sleep in the car. He kept calling me like, I'm proud of you. And he's like, did you see that Bengals-Packers game? Or
the Bengals-Packers game was nuts too.
I'm like, dude, you're trying to sleep. I don't care about missed field goal.
Like the Lions, like they lost to the Ravens a couple weeks ago on a 63-yard NFL record. Stupid kick that hit the crossbar. So they're playing the Vikings. We've lost 7 straight to the Vikings. I'm texting Beth, like talking trash, because she's from Minnesota. And then they were down by like 9 or something. They or 10. They kicked to they were down by 11 with like 2 minutes left. They kicked a field goal to take it to like I don't know, Mike. They were down by 10. Anyway, they ended up getting like a last minute touchdown. They go for 2 to go for the win. And I kept saying like, go for the win. We're on house money now.
Yeah.
We go for 2 with 30 seconds left. We hit the 2-point conversion. We're up by 1, 37 seconds left. Minnesota, like it's like a quick couple pass plays.
Get field
set
goal.
up for like a 58-yard field goal, and they nail it.
Shut up, man! You guys are cursed.
Like it's ridiculous how the Lions lose.
You guys just need to fold.
Oh my god!
Lions
fan is the worst.
You know what? Next year for the NFL draft, you're gonna draft like with your first round like a kick blocker. For the first round of we pick somebody that blocks field goals.
Oh man, at
probably
least
wouldn't hurt.
Oh my god! Yeah, this is a Nike hat. This is
sweet.
So this one you can still find. Like there's a lot of 50th merchandise that is off the racks, but when I left on October 4th, they had tons of these. They were stocking in the Emporium, and these are sweet. They're kind of expensive. They're like a $40 hat.
Yeah,
but they're awesome now.
They had them at World of Disney the night we were there.
Yeah, and I got the matching shirt going today too.
Boom, matched up.
Look at you.
Yeah, thanks everybody for the congrats on the Chicago. Yes, I'm barely alive, so yeah, no joke. That was hot. So shout out to everybody who finished that one, and everybody who finished Boston today. I was watching that. People that did both. Awesome. I'm like, people that did both. I could barely get down to the.
Shout out to Fitz Kohler.
Yes.
And Kelly Warble.
You're right.
We had some others too. That's why I hate like giving like
specific
recognition because I don't want to leave anyone out.
I know.
Yeah.
Because we were riding home in the car last night. It's about a 5-hour drive, and I got a Charlie horse like 3 hours in. I'm like, dude, if I'd have got that on the plane, dude, the FAA would have probably arrested me because I started screaming. It's like, Pam's like, shut up. If I had to do that on a plane, it would have been.
Yeah, you'd have been done. You'd have been done.
All right, let's do this. Oh, the hats are still at the Emporium.
Yes.
Yesterday.
I might have to get a backup hat because I love it.
That's
like sometimes these hats go like you wear them a lot,
and then they get gross, and then
But this one, like I'm never gonna wear it at the pool. I'm never gonna wear it.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you don't if you baby like the white ones though, man, they go. Yeah, the white ones are the worst.
I need another white one to have as a good one, where then I wear my other white one to the pool.
Yeah.
All right. If we have questions, put them in the inbox or the chat. Not the inbox.
Not the inbox.
It's too late for the inbox. But yeah, put them in the comments below. We'll get to those first. We need questions for Wednesday. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1980 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. We appreciate you being here and hope you're having a great midweek already. And of course, it is time for your listener questions. That's why you're here. That's why we're here. And we're going to get to that right now. So joining me today from the mouseforless.com, we have Ricky. Ricky, what's going on?
I'm so proud of you and everyone who ran this weekend, however you want to call it. I mean, just such big kudos for all of you because y'all know I ain't running no more. So I did my half marathon and I'm done. But I'm so proud of everybody who got out there and did it because, I mean, trust me, it's a huge feat. So congratulations to all of you.
Absolutely. We had lizards that ran Chicago.
Yep.
Not on a plane. Now this is, I mean, we do these dopey challenges. We do goofy challenges. We do glass slippers. We do 2-course challenges, whatever Disney calls them, right? I mean, these folks that got on a plane and flew halfway across the country after running 26.2 miles on a Sunday when it was super hot and humid, red course conditions, ran in Boston where it was no better because you're just chasing the same weather.
It's true.
You are superhuman. I'm just saying, because I'm telling you, I ran Chicago and I know we had a bunch of lizards up there. Shout out to everybody up there and the folks on the course too. We had some course marshals that were lizards.
That's awesome.
We had lizards that came out just to cheer. I'm telling you what, the greatest thing about running Chicago, and this is not going to be a show about the Chicago Marathon, Thursday's Patreon episode will be. The greatest thing about this race, I had no idea where I was going. I had no clue. I just followed the herd. I'm like,
let's go.
I was like, oh, cool. We're running towards the tall buildings again. That's awesome. Oh, we're running away from the tall buildings. That
can't be good.
I know we finished from the tall buildings. Oh, we're going back towards them. Yay. Oh, no, we're running away from them again. That stinks again. So that's kind of how my day went mentally throughout the day. But yeah, it was fun seeing friendly faces out on the course. If you said, hey, thanks so much for the support. But yeah, those folks who did both, dude, I hope somebody carries you to the breakfast table, like for the next week. Like you shouldn't even have to walk to get food at this point. So
exactly.
Shout out to everybody who's out there, and we're going to have some fun race weekends in less than a month. Wine and Dine, you're up.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
That's
Enjoy
crazy.
it. Speaking of Wine and Dine, he's running. Scotty G, hashtag Scotty G from Up in the Mitten. What's going on, Scott? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say Wine and Dine is on the clock now.
Yep.
Yeah, big shout out to those. I know we had a lot of Be Our Guest listeners, lizards that were in Chicago and Boston. We even had some in LA. There was a marathon out there, even not the big LA marathon, but there was another full marathon out there. I know a couple of listeners were doing that one too. So kudos to everyone and ready for some Wine and Dine. Let's go.
Yes. I'll say, I was looking for the castle. Never saw the castle. Got to see
no castle.
Sears Tower a couple times. Let's see. What else did we see? Saw fountains. I mean, it's cool. I just
some cool neighborhoods like Chinatown, things like that.
Yeah, it was like the for those runners out there, it was like the TTC, but for 20 miles. And I'm not joking. It was madness. Like people were, you get anything you wanted. People were giving out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I was like, that's my style. And
nice.
I know, for real. It's awesome. All right, first question of the day comes from Paul in the inbox. It says, hey, Mike and BOGP crew. We're staying at Coronado Springs for our upcoming trip during Thanksgiving week. We are driving down this time, looking for a pro and con of driving to the parks or getting there via bus. I hear the wait times for the buses at Coronado can be hit or miss, and thinking that at Thanksgiving it could be a bit more crowded. What do you think? One bit is it will most likely be headed to the parks around lunchtime each day. Thanks for always bringing the magic with every episode. I think
this is my kind of people.
That's a great question, though, because here's the thing. Most people consider park opening, and a lot of people aren't going around lunchtime, which brings a whole little bit different twist to getting to the parks. So car versus bus. Ricky, what do you think in this? Staying at Coronado.
I mean, I do a lot of driving, obviously, because I do stay off property, and so I drive my car. So honestly, unless you're going to the Magic Kingdom, I would say maybe consider driving your car, only because the buses, I feel like at that time of day may be a little hit or miss because you're not in that window where I feel like buses are constantly coming. I feel like that driving may be better, except like I said, to the Magic Kingdom, because the Magic Kingdom, it'll drop you right off at the Magic Kingdom instead of the TTC. Now, there is one small caveat that may make me say you might want to consider just taking the bus anyway. And that is the fact that right now, okay, I'm putting this out there, so hopefully this will change by, the time this comes out or later this week. Right now, the trams are not running at the Walt Disney World Resort to take guests from the parking lot to the parks. So you are going to have to walk. And trust me when I say sometimes it's kind of a far walk. So that's something to consider, because if you do take the bus, obviously the bus will drop you off usually relatively pretty close. Except for I feel like at Epcot, where I feel like you're still
almost in the same zip code.
I know, right? I know. I feel like at Epcot, really, I mean, if you take the bus or you drive, you're going to be just as far away from anything. Yeah,
I mean, you're almost as close from Coronado, actually.
Exactly. So, that's definitely something to consider. If you do drive, just remember where you parked. That is going to be key. So, take a picture, text somebody that you love. text yourself. That's what I always do. I text my brother, here's where I parked. And, but, that's just kind of that way you know where you are and have a general idea of where you're parking, because it's hard to find your car at the end of the night. So
I think that's good advice. Scott, agree. I would drive everywhere except Magic Kingdom, especially Coronado, because you can hit Epcot in the studio super quick. And Animal Kingdom's a great place to drive to. Big
True.
Yeah. So my answer might surprise you.
He's gonna say take the bus.
So I'm a big car guy. You guys know I'm a big car guy. Like, I like to rent cars. I like to have the car, but like, there's something about like a midday bus ride where you can just unwind. You don't have to worry about like traffic, turning on your turn signal. You can just sit in the bus and relax, and it's usually wide open.
That's true.
And that's sometimes like my most relaxing part of the day. And then especially coming back to the resort, you got all these great photos that you took. You want to share them on the social media. Use the bus Wi-Fi and just blast like your social media while you're driving back to Coronado. So unless
I forgot about bus Wi-Fi. Yes, that is a thing, isn't it?
So unless if it's the first part of the day, like you're opening, or if you're closing, if it's in the middle of the day, I'm always team bus just for like that relaxation time.
There we go. All right.
Well, the only thing I consider though is midday, the buses aren't running as frequently, so you may have like 30 minutes for the bus to come pick you. I agree though, driving, one of the best things at Walt Disney World, I agree with Scott, is the bus ride midday back to your resort. Like you've been in the park all morning, you're hot. Sometimes you get that like personal bus, like it's just you.
Yeah.
It's cold as like a freezer in there. You're chilling like you're riding in a Disney limo.
And you can just like, it's just like you can unwind. There's like very rarely are you like private somewhere, right? Like
True.
At Walt Disney World. Like that is it's an overrated thing. The private bus back to your hotel in the middle of summer is the best.
All right, let's hit up this question here. Actually, it's a plethora of questions here in the inbox from Jerry. He says, hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. I've been listening to your podcast since 2010 when I was planning my first trip for my daughters, who were then 2 and 5.
Oh, no.
I know. It was my first podcast, and it's still my favorite. After 11 years, I feel like you guys are all friends. Thanks for keeping the magic alive.
He's got tweens and teens now.
Seriously. Jerry's got a few questions, so we're going to hit all these questions because you've been with us. You've invested in us, so we're going to invest.
Yes.
It says my last trip was in 2017. We have a trip booked for June of 2022. A lot has changed, and I have many questions. Here they are. First, how far in advance can we mobile order? Hours in advance? Days? Is the process mostly efficient? Is this the only option, or can we walk up and order the old-fashioned way? Any tips or tricks? So we'll kind of ping pong this because he has a few questions. Ricky, talk about mobile order real quick.
So I've never really mobile ordered more than the day of. So I'll do it sometime, usually around when I'm thinking about order or dining, and see kind of how long the wait is. And I'll go from there. So, but you can definitely start mobile ordering in the morning. They don't actually charge your credit card, I think, until you actually hit the I'm here button. So if you want to cancel it, you still can. So I would say the morning of. I don't know that you can order it any earlier than that. Let's put it that way. As far as if you can do walk-up dining as of right now, unfortunately, at most places, it is mobile order only. There are a few locations that are walk-up, but if you're looking at a traditional quick service location, it is more than likely going to be mobile only. So just keep that in mind too.
And a tip or trick, just pull up the My Disney Experience app, just look at it and just kind of get this is going to be great for your trip. Look, kind of get familiar with it before you leave home.
Yes.
Because it is a little bit different, but it's pretty simple to use. Okay, next question is about magic bands. For Scott, we have our old magic bands. Will we be able to use those for our upcoming trip, or do we need to use our phones now? If we are able to use them, do we activate them through My Disney Experience? If so, would you advise calling a few days before a trip to make sure everything is set up correctly? So what advice do you have for magic bands and getting?
Yeah, I mean, if you have some old ones, they should still work as long as they're still active on the My Disney Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know they say there's like a battery life, a certain life. I mean, I haven't used like one of my old original ones like in years, but I would assume they still work. But you would just want to check in to make sure they're active on My Disney Experience. But I always see a new trip as a new excuse to get some new bands, So I would recommend like just put on a couple new bands. I know they're not free anymore, but you can get some cool designs now too, especially for the 50th anniversary. So I'd recommend just getting a couple new bands.
The only thing about the bringing back the old bands, only thing I've heard of is the short range RFID works pretty well still. It's the long range RFID. So things like PhotoPass photos when you're on attractions. Sometimes those don't get loaded in with an older band. That's really the only thing I've heard. So if you want to just bring your old bands, go ahead. And as long as they're active in your My Disney experience, sorry.
I still use I have this special like Flower and Garden 25th anniversary band that I absolutely love because it does cool things when I go to Epcot. That band is 3-4 years old. I'm still using it. It still works awesome. So you should have no problem.
The only band I use is that I've used since I got one at the Toy Story Media Event 2018 when Toy Story Land opened. That's the one I've used ever. And I used it just this past trip. So no issues. And it worked. I mean, it worked on Small World. It picked up my name and put it on the screen. So
that's true. It did. We all got our names just about.
The key is just make sure that band is active. You can go on My Disney Experience. There's like a My Reservations, My Plans. There's like My Tickets and Magic Bands. Just click on there and just make sure that your band is active.
All right. The next question: do I need to rush and make park reservations ASAP, or do I have time to think about it? What if I change my mind after I've made my park reservations? I'll take this one real quick. This is pretty simple. What I always tell guests to do with park reservations: make them immediately upon booking your reservation, because there's no penalty in making these. And of course, you might not have all the information you need to plan out the perfect vacation right now, because you guys are going in June of 22. You don't have park hours. You don't have a good idea of where you're going to end up probably day by day. But just kind of say, okay, I want to make sure I go to the studios 2 days, the Magic Kingdom 2 days, Epcot a day, and Animal Kingdom a day. Lay some park reservations on that amount of days, just kind of look at it. And here's the thing. You can't really modify a park reservation at this time, but what you can do is cancel and rebook a different day. And it's not a problem right now. Everything will be available until you get a lot closer. But it's just one of those things. There's no penalty for doing it now. It gives you a little peace of mind. You have something. You have a pretty good idea. You're like 75% of the way there. And then as you get closer to the travel date, you gather more information. You can refine your plans to really narrow things down to get exactly what you're looking for. You don't have to do it right now, but I just say do it right now just to help you sleep better. Help if you have a travel agent, help your travel agent sleep better. I'm just telling you, that way I don't have to color my hair so often. All right, next question. We're going to have park hoppers. Am I correct that it works by hopping after 2 and no park reservation is needed for the second park? How does this work with the virtual queues? All right, Ricky, are you good, or is your dog going to try to answer this one?
No, Daisy's good. So whoever had bingo on the bingo card, congratulations. So park hopping, you definitely can do it after 2. You don't have to have a park reservation. The only day that I've ever seen them not have the ability for park hopping is October 1st when the Magic Kingdom was completely full. So you should be just fine in getting to the park.
And I'd say this could change. So this is for a June 2022 trip, right, Mike? So
yeah,
right now,
it's also all these things we are saying are subject to change based on
that's true
updates from Disney. But
that's true. Yes.
It's working well. And virtual queues, of course, right now, the way they have this set up is that you can only use the virtual queue where you have your theme park reservation, because they're having it to where you have to have it for that early one. That's where you make your you got to have your theme park reservation to make that initial early morning chance to enter the virtual queue. And then they make sure that you have to be in that park, but for like the 1 o'clock drop, that's why they have the 2 o'clock park hop. So you can't really go for a virtual queue as of right now for the hop. So
we'll talk about this on Friday, but I have a feeling that virtual queues just might be going away with the new Genie Plus.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how it is as of before October 19th right now. So we'll leave it there. ADRs are now at 60 days. Correct. That's an easy one. And that could change, but that's how it is right now. What are the current security procedures? We'll be staying at All-Star Movies and using the bus system. Any tips to cut down on time spent at the security checkpoint line? Scott, talk about that, because I think it's awesome right now.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome. Basically, they've updated a lot of stuff since you've been there. They don't really do like the thorough bag check as they used to. You kind of just walk through a detector. But my word of advice is, you'll hear the security guard saying this, but if you have like an eyeglass case or an umbrella, because it rains all the time in Florida, just have that out. If you have that out, like kind of in front of you as you're walking through, they'll see that you have, the umbrella or the eyeglass case that triggers that, and then they'll just kind of have you go through. If you leave that in your bag, you're going to kind of get pulled to the side for a more thorough bag check. So do yourself a favor and just leave those out. But yeah, it's so, I love it, Mike. I think it's so much better than it was.
Oh my gosh.
Years ago. It's so fantastic.
Agreed. And also the other thing that triggers it a lot of times are a thicker, heavier duty phone charger. So I know that can trigger it too. But the way that security is now is so much simpler, so much easier to get through. It's kind of one of the things that was helpful with COVID, because they had to change the processes because they couldn't, go through everybody's bag at that point. So they had to figure out a different way to do it. And I think it's a much better process than what they were doing, because they had just built all the spaces for security right before all this, and then they ended up having to change everything.
One thing to note, though, if you want to bring a bottle of wine to a friend at a monorail resort and you take the bus to the Magic Kingdom, you do have to go through the security with that bottle of wine, so you might have some trouble there.
You might, yes. They may think you're trying to sneak wine into the Magic Kingdom, so.
You will have an escort to the Contemporary.
You will have an escort to the Contemporary, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, actually. It's pretty fun. You'll be out of breath by the time you get to the Garden Wing. Next, we are planning on having food delivered. Do you recommend Amazon, Walmart, something else? A lot of folks use Garden Grocery. I'll just throw that in there. Can I order it and have it waiting upon arrival? Yes, you can. It'll be at Bell Services, and most Bell Services have, actually, I think they all do, refrigerated sections. Obviously, this happens every day, and you can just call down, and they can either deliver it to your room, or you can go pick it up, but there could be a surcharge.
Actually, when we were at Pop Century too, I saw that they had this whole area. It used to be where you did the where you dropped your luggage off for airline check-in, but that whole area was basically an area for like grocery pickup and stuff like that now. So, which was really nice.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And says, I realize that a lot is changing at Disney and may change further before our June trip. I also realize that I've asked a lot of questions. I appreciate any advice you guys can give. Thanks for everything. Actually, it's Camille, and says Cardinal fan, born in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, now living in Texas. There you go, the Cardinal fan.
That's awesome. And these are all questions that I think a lot of people who maybe haven't been in, a few years, there's a lot of changes that have been happening. So these are all very valid questions, 100%.
And what I will say is, like, back to the security, like, I took a backpack for the first time on October 1st. I hadn't taken a backpack in probably 5 years, and it was just, it made it easy to do.
Yes.
Like, I just quit taking them because it was a hassle. I'm not doing it. But I mean, on October 1st, it was, everybody was just trying to survive. So I just, battery packs and all that stuff. Anyway, Tammy's got her question. She's a Clemson fan. She's joining. She's always here. She's always there with her Tigger picture. Scott's got to appreciate that.
I like Tigger. Yes.
Man, there. Question: what days look best for a 2 to 3 day Walt Disney World trip next month in November? Man, okay, so I can't really tell you the 2 to 3 days. I don't have the calendar pulled up, but you want to avoid obviously Thanksgiving, probably from Thanksgiving on out. Mm-hmm. You also want to avoid the wine and dine week. The beginning of November is just out. I mean, for probably the beginning of November through the wine and dine race weekend, because that's Jersey week.
And you're going to have all the holiday decorations that are going up. And so all the like hoopla surrounding all that there'll be a lot of bloggers and bloggers and all that in the parks at that point.
Like Tuesday, you gotta look through a Tuesday to Thursday.
I was saying, like a Tuesday to a Thursday, probably in like the mid-teens. I mean, because
after Veterans Day,
I'm looking at like the 16th through the 18th. That's what I'm thinking.
Because as soon as like the Christmas parties start, bloggers, everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're probably going out for those. So, yeah.
So, I mean, at any time that week, though, the week basically of the 14th through the 20th, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people are going to save their trip for that Thanksgiving trip, right? So I think the week before should be kind of mellow, but you never know.
That's true. You don't know.
All right. Melissa's got a question in the chat. Thanks for being here. Hey, guys, question. We priced out 5 nights at All-Star Music in January, and it turns out 4 nights on the Disney Dreams, basically the same price for our family of 6. You know what? I've been pricing things out like this for guests for about the past month, where cruises are about the same price as like a moderate stay.
Or like buying tickets, you mean? Like not for like a pass holder?
Yes. We've never done a cruise as a family, but thinking this might be an opportunity to take. We live in northern Indiana, so I'm sure the weather will be lovely for us. Which would you choose? Okay, so oh my God, I think this is a no-brainer. But see, I don't know. I love my favorite vacation is a Disney cruise. If you've never been on a Disney cruise and you've been to Walt Disney World many times, you really got to try the Disney cruise. It's because you got to remember entertainment's there. The food it's like eating it's really kind of like staying in a deluxe hotel.
Yes.
Not signature dining, but like really fancy dining. You're talking about, kind of upscale restaurants with a little entertainment thrown in, really high quality shows. You get to go cool places. I mean, in January, you'll be on the beach. I mean, Like you're on the real beach in the real ocean. I don't know. So I'm voting cruise. Let's just all vote. I vote cruise. Scott, what do you vote?
I vote cruise too. And being someone from Michigan, you're in Indiana. Our first family cruise was in January on the Dream. So yes, the weather was nicer. I will say, like, the weather could be a little bit cooler, but it's going to be a heck of a lot better than it is back home.
Exactly.
So Castaway Key that first time wasn't like super hot, but honestly, like, it was really nice having to be that way. I wasn't sweating to death on the island.
Right. So we got two
cruises.
Ricky.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if it's about the same amount, while I love a Walt Disney World vacation, obviously, there is something about a Disney cruise, and I absolutely adore Disney Cruise Line.
Get that Castaway status going right now.
Yeah, right.
I will say though, right now is the time. Like cruise deals are out there where they haven't been in years. Like Walt Disney World, the demand is high. So
yeah, it's true.
There's no discounts for Walt Disney World.
Right.
Crazy.
But there's
for cruise bookings right now, it's in the favor of the traveler, where Walt Disney World demand is high, supply is low. So you got to think about that. It's kind of the opposite way of the cruises, because people are kind of just getting their feet wet, getting back in. Cruises are awesome, don't worry, but the secret isn't out, as much.
Yes,
people are a little, it's like kind of one extra step to go on a cruise, which do it. I've been on one. Pam did back to back.
Yes.
I mean, she couldn't stop talking about it.
And Mike, can I jump in? So Alfred has a question. He commented about seeing Ricky at Pop Century, which is awesome. I feel bad that we never connected. I feel bad that we didn't see each other while we were down there. But he had a cruise question too, so I felt like it was a good transition. So he asked if you need formal attire on a Disney cruise, and I would say no. I mean, on a 7-nighter, like on the Fantasy, like there is like a formal night for dinner, but it's not required by any means.
It's definitely not mandatory. And
but it is fun. Here's the deal. On the
7-nighter,
it's fun because you and I rented tuxes. Okay, so I never, because I work at home, I work from home, so I never see people. Like this is my office attire, my hoodie, my running clothes that I just wear. I don't see people, so I'm excited. I keep with Pam when I go to Texas Roadhouse. I put on my go out jeans. Like
oh my gosh.
So when we got to go on the cruise and wear tuxes, I mean, we were like Secret Service agents. Every time we got in the elevator, we have two.
And we still do that to this day.
Till this day, man, it was like people didn't know if we were Secret Service agents or what. We had a good time. So you know what? Sometimes in life, dress up. But good point, Scott. You don't have to.
You don't have to. But I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. Like, because Mike, we got our stateroom, and our tuxes were like already like in the room. Like we didn't have to. It was perfect for renting. And then I think I wore mine like 3 times that trip because I had like polo and stuff too.
Yeah.
But definitely not required. But it does make for like a fun evening to dress up, and it's cool to see other people doing it too on a formal night. But like on a 3 or 4-nighter, like you rarely see it.
Yeah, you won't see it unless you're on a 7-nighter for the most part. All right, let's see here. Becca's got a question. A random daydreaming thought. What resort would you pick for a resort only weekend? I would do Animal Kingdom Lodge, she says. Real quick, resort only. I'm going Wilderness Lodge. Just because I've been on a Wilderness Lodge kick. I just think it's got a cool pool, Geyser Point, chilling out there, cool rooms. I'm going Wilderness. Ricky, what say you? Where are you staying?
Oh, this one is tough. I'm thinking, like a beach club. You got that pool there is so fantastic, and you're so close to the boardwalk, and you could take the Skyliner around everywhere. And I think I'm gonna go with beach club.
Good call.
Yeah, Ricky kind of stole my answer, but
I
had 2 answers. I had 2 in the tank.
All right.
So I'm actually going to go with my most recent resort. I'm going to go with the Contemporary because we actually did a no park day, and it was a lot of fun. We hung out at the pool. Elizabeth and I did a monorail cupcake crawl for breakfast that morning.
Oh, that's a good call for breakfast.
Here's a secret note.
You did say that was correct. A cupcake crawl for breakfast that is allowed at Disney.
Yes, it is.
And you know what? We watched Enchantment from the quiet pool one night with a great view of the fireworks, and you could hear the soundtrack once the movie Under the Stars ended. It was weird hearing like Sophia the First to the fireworks, but I'm going with the Contemporary because you can like have all those dining options on the monorail, and that'll be a lot of fun.
There we go. We're very deluxe people. Nobody said All Star Sports, even though it's not open. It'll reopen. I have faith in you, All Star Sports. You'll be back.
I didn't say Old Key West for once.
I did think about it, but it's fun. See, Corwin of Amber's here. 53 days until my trip. I made ADRs, but I missed on a couple. I need to change one. I'm checking a couple of times a day, but is there a sweet spot for finding stray reservations? I will say the best sweet spot to me is 24 hours before. And I know it's kind of oh man, I can't wait that long. I got to know what my plan is, but that is kind of your ultimate sweet spot because of cancellations. But outside of that, I tell my guests to check at lunchtime because I think people at work, maybe this was pre-COVID, because people have all different hours that are working from home now. But pre-COVID, when a lot of people were still in the office and like teachers were at their, in the lunchroom and stuff, I think people mess around with their reservations on their lunch break and cancel, modify. So I think, check between the hours of like 11 and 1, wherever you are. But Scott, do you have any,
Yeah, I like both of your answers because I always do a lot of Disney planning at lunch. I have my sandwich. I bring up my phone. I'm like, I wonder what ADRs are out there. But I hate to say this on the podcast, but like the real answer is like the night before. Like you're waiting in line for a bus, you're waiting in line for a Skyliner. Go see what's available. Like you will be surprised at what pops up that night before.
I agree. You've said so many times, hey, we're going to yacht. You want to go yachtsman tomorrow? I'm like, oh, dude. Yeah.
And we have like nothing booked, or we have like something that we don't care for that much. And then you see like the world, California Grill pops up, Narcoossee's pops up. Like,
and the thing is, at that point, you have to commit, right? Because you're within 24 hours. So if you make it, you're in penalty. So you got like, you're not like messing around at that point. So that's a good point. All right. Quanta's got a question here in the live chat. Question. Trying to score a Space 220 restaurant reservation in December. I know Dining Kimber reserves 60 days out, but how early do I need to be up to make that reservation? I heard midnight. Is that correct? Any tips? Ricky, talk about making those ADR 60 days out. It's not midnight, thank goodness.
It's not. It is, I believe, 7 a.m. though, right? It is
midnight
early.
If you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Exactly. Depends on your time zone. No,
exactly.
Actually, I recommend for online 30 minutes prior to the time because the systems roll over sometimes before 7 a.m. So I would say 6:30.
6:30, yeah. So, and that's Eastern time. So just keep that in mind too, because I want to specify for everybody. It is Eastern time. So, and as far as Space 220, I mean, it is definitely the hot spot right now. So just keep looking. If by chance you don't get a reservation, they do have the lounge available. The lounge is not serving like the 3-course meal for dinner or the 2-course meal for lunch. It is a la carte, but it is an option if you really can't get in. Now you may have to wait a while. Just trust me. There, when we went there, just a couple weeks ago, and we were waiting, and I saw the huge long line for people who were waiting to get into the lounge. So just know you may have to wait a little bit. But if it's like a must do for you and you can't get that Space 220 reservation, then at least the lounge is available. So that's an option.
What a follow-up question on Space 220 from the inbox. Hey, Mike and BOGP crew, I have a question about making dining reservations now that a park reservation is required. Can I make a Space 220 late lunch after 2 p.m. Reservation if my park reservation is for a different park that morning? We're wanting to hop to Epcot after the studios and catch a late lunch at Space or in Space or at Space. I don't know what it is, either one, I guess. But I'd hate to find out I need a Epcot park reservation that day and have one already set. Thanks for all your Disney wisdom. Stephanie's out in Boise, where they have the blue turf.
The blue turf.
That's right. I love watching.
I think they just beat BYU this last weekend. I could be wrong though.
No, they did. Scott, so we're good there. Actually, you're good.
Absolutely.
There.
Yep.
Everybody's chiming in. It looks like it's earlier than 7. It looks like it's earlier than maybe 6:30.
Yeah, I thought it was 6 o'clock with possibly that 30-minute rollover time that Mike was talking about.
So Beth says it's about 5:45 each day. So
yep. So I would say, for going back to the previous question, for when does the system kick off for booking that ADR, 6 a.m. Eastern, but maybe try a little bit earlier than that. Like 15,
did we say 7 Eastern? I meant 6 Eastern, and always go 30 minutes. I always go 30 minutes prior to published times on because the systems have always rolled over online before. Like the phones, because I'm still thinking of the old phone lines. Online, the systems would always be available before you could call it.
Got it.
So there you
go. Okay. But going back to the question about, do you need, like, if you're have a Magic Kingdom Park Pass and you're trying to make a Space 220 reservation for the afternoon, you totally can.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're good.
Just make sure you have Park Hopper though.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Yeah.
Yes, you will not be dining in space. You'll be dining in the parking lot. See, here's a question for a fellow runner. I'm heading down to the world at the end of November 2021. I'm running the Run Disney Marathon in January and is hoping to log some training miles during my November trip. We're staying at the Polynesian in November and was wondering if I can run around the Seven Seas Lagoon in the early morning. Is there security? Can I make my way from the Poly to the Contemporary without issue? Thanks and love the show. Oh, and good luck at Chicago. Amy's up in New Hampshire. Thanks, Amy. So I don't think you can run from the Polynesian to the Contemporary because there is a gate. But Scott, you've stayed there. So what's advice at running at the Poly?
Yeah, so can't go to the Contemporary, but I love running at the Poly. I mean, it's like the main ground is kind of challenging. There's a lot of like curves and zigzagging, but you can actually run to Shades of Green from there too, which kind of opens up a little bit too, and you get to see a little bit more sights. So I would just kind of run through those two. I believe you might be able to get to the Grand Floridian as well. And now they have like that long path that might help get some like long distance too. But I would definitely recommend trying to go through like the Shades of Green area, then back and try the Grand Floridian. But you can definitely get some good mileage there.
Yeah, a lot of people I've talked to say they run from the Polynesian over to the Grand and then take that new path from the Grand up to the basically up to the monorail exit at the Magic Kingdom entrance and then run back. And that, I would guess that'd get you about a mile each way. I mean, there's just not a big loop over in that area to get, you can't get like a 5-mile loop. I mean, it's just, you're gonna have to do a lot of.
But the Polynesian, you can get some good miles too if you go through like all the like paths on the outer buildings. You can run on the boat dock, kind of like that you would see at beach clubs. You can walk all the way down, do it back and forth. There's ways to add extra distance on where you're around the lagoon and have those awesome views of those palm trees.
And it'll look super cool on your map when you have your tracker, like on your Runkeeper or something. I love doing that. So
me too.
All right, Andrew's here. We appreciate that. Andrew's been on the podcast forever, and we're so glad to see him here in the live chat. If you could ride one looping coaster outside of Walt Disney World right now, which would you choose? The Incredicoaster at DCA, Indiana Jones. This is another language. Et le Temple du Peril. Sorry, I'm killing it. At Disneyland Paris Park or Park Paris. Space Mountain at Disneyland Park Paris, or Raging Spirits at Tokyo Disney Sea. I'm out because I've never ridden any of these. I will ride looping roller coasters. I do Rock and Roller Coaster, but I mean, I guess I don't know. I'd be up for any of them. I'd do any of them.
All right.
So you have to choose one of those, right?
You have to choose one.
I'm not educated enough.
I would just say I'm glad that the Matterhorn isn't on there because there's no way.
Well, it's not looping.
That's true.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see what he means by looping now.
Yeah,
okay.
It goes
I thought you meant like you were like riding this on a constant loop.
Like on iTunes or something.
Right.
Like
that's why I was like, there's no way I could ride the Matterhorn for like 20 straight hours.
It goes upside down. Yes.
I thought, Incredicoaster all day. Like I wish it was the old California event, Screaming, but I love that track. Yep. So I'm going with Incredicoaster.
All right. Well, as someone who has ridden 3 out of the 4, granted, I haven't ridden the Incredicoaster as the Incredicoaster. I rode it as California Screaming, but I'm gonna go with the Tokyo Disney Sea one because I haven't done it yet. So, I'm gonna go with that one. It's on my bucket list.
Nice.
There you go. Perfect.
I interpret that question so wrong.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Looping this, the Matterhorn. From what I've heard, you do.
My back and bottom could not handle like that for like one loop in quotes.
I know people tell me like, Mike, you got to ride it. Mike, you'll kill me after you ride it once.
Yeah.
The hack is like back in the day when you did like a fantastic dinner package, they would give you like this cushion to watch Fantastic. So then you could just take the cushion and put it on your bobsled.
Smart, yes.
It helps.
That's smart.
Oh, that's so funny. All right, Tammy says, Mike, can you tell me what month will the rates be the lowest at any of the Disney resorts in the upcoming months? Okay, so historically, again, this is really, really hard right now, but you can, and it's not like a month. It's like a few days. You could probably hit something in January in like that last week if you avoid. So you're looking at that last week of January after Martin Luther King weekend before, and you're okay. So if you're looking for like a range of probably where you're going to get the lowest rate, you're looking after Martin Luther King weekend in January until Princess hits. So you got like the first couple of weeks of February And so you're looking like probably like the mid-20s of January until probably the early mid-teens of February. Probably your lowest rates than spring break.
Did you say Princess or because President's Weekend is going to be before Princess? Is that what you said? Or
oh, okay, yeah, I was thinking Princess was before Presidents. Yeah, so you're talking probably like I would say maybe so you're looking like
3 week span there.
Yeah, probably that's it. So probably, mid-20s of January to the late teens of February, and that's going to be it because all bets are off. Spring break starts, and that's it. I mean, just guess.
It's an awesome time to be there too. Weather's more favorable, so.
Yep. And Jennifer says she looked at one of her dining confirmations. She has one that she booked at 5:37 a.m. Now she's in the Central Time Zone, so we have that. Let's see here. Terry's asking if we make lounge reservations for Space 220 at walk up, do we have to wait and remain in line, or will they give you a return time? I think you just you wait in line and they take you in, you go right up, right? I mean, you don't come back.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know though. I don't know. I haven't done.
All I saw was a line. I don't know. I don't think they were like taking your name and having you come back. I think you were just waiting in the line. So
it's probably waiting in line, or else those would go like instantly if
exactly
they did, like callbacks.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just have to wait in line. Yeah.
Don't know for a fact though.
No, but I'm thinking that's probably the case.
All right, and last question of the day comes from Mary Jane Gloria in the live chat. She says, with the launch of Disney Genie coming soon, have you been giving any information on when people can add it to their package? And will it just be by calling, or will you be able to do it online? Okay, so I will tell you this. Again, these things, we record this show about 36 hours before it publishes, because we record on Mondays, comes out on Tuesday nights. And I spoke with many cast members today as we record, because I'm trying to always get the feelers, right? This is how it works with Disney. You get different, you guys all know this, you get different answers from different cast members because, some people that work at Disney, some of these cast members study this stuff like, nobody's business. This is their jam. Some people it's a job, and they do the best they can. But some people, I mean, they know everything. They're on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they're listening to shows like this. So I got all kinds of information today because, again, I was in Chicago all weekend when this stuff started to drop. I was studying what I got from Disney, but I like to hear from the cast members as well as kind of a backup to see what the kind of heartbeat of the thing is. What I found out is that we're really not going to get definite information until October 19th when this thing drops, as far as what the definite rules are as of today as we're recording. So, again, everything from what I was told today, now this is by multiple cast members through our travel agent line, is that October 19th, we should have definite, obviously, because it's going to release to the general public, rules on how to add this to a package. You can do it online. You can do it for length of stay. You can do it day by day. You can get, rates. Everything is going to be firm by October 19th. It may happen before then. It may happen by the time this show drops. It may happen by Wednesday. But as of right now, we don't have any definite information. It's just... we have speculation, but, we don't have information. But by October 19th, so we're really close. I mean, think about that. I mean, we're within a week. So, I mean, and we're going to talk on Friday a little bit about Genie Plus and the selections they made for Lightning Lanes, whether we agree with them, disagree. I think we kind of do. But we'll talk about that on Friday and what we know and where we think this is going to head. So there we go. All right, so that is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for the great questions and just the great discussion about Walt Disney World. We love this place, and it's always fun to see how things change and how we've had listeners hanging out with us for 13 years.
I know.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
Hikes. Now we're taking teens.
Very different experience, right?
Way more expensive when they're that age. They're a lot cheaper when they're 2. They're way cheaper when they're 2. I forgot about that. Yeah, when they're 3, they become a lot more expensive. But then when they're 13, they want everything. And then you got to get them a phone and all that stuff, whatever. Anyway, we are going to be back on Friday, and we'll be talking about some fun Disney topics. We're wrapping up kind of our trip report from the 50th. We're going to talk some about Ratatouille. Never got to talk about that. France in general, spending time there. Some of the other stuff we didn't talk about on our trip, some of the hidden gems that we discovered. Also, some of the Genie Plus stuff. So make sure you come on back on Friday for some fun Disney talk to kick off the weekend. Until then, don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan out that next Disney vacation, especially Walt Disney World, because we've been there. We've been on Ratatouille. We've experienced the virtual queue. We've dined at Space 220. We've gone to the Steakhouse 71. We try to get all the new experiences. We can help you have some idea of what to expect when you go down firsthand for your next Disney vacation. Also, a great time to get in on Disney Cruise Line. Great deals out there, just like we talked about on today's show. And the best part about it is when you book a Disney cruise with the Magic for Less, we're going to give you money to spend on board. You can use that for drinks. You can use that for merch. You can get a cool polo like Scott's got on there. They have great Disney Cruise Line polos. I'll tell you what, man, those stores on the Disney Cruise Line ships, they're awesome. They get all my money.
Oh, definitely.
And the views are awesome too. I love looking through the portholes, like on the shops.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, when you book with the Magic for Less, a cruise, it costs the exact same price as booking on your own, but we'll give you some money to just go into your account just for supporting the agency. So check them out over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys support the show. You guys help us keep this all going each and every week all around the world. And you get a bonus show every Thursday called Mike in the Midwest. And this Thursday, we're talking about Chicago because my wife and I talked about this. Chicago's considered the Midwest. But for somebody that's from St. Louis,
it's not the Midwest.
It's not my Midwest.
No, oh my God, it's totally the Midwest, Mike.
I'm with Mike.
No, we're talking about this on Thursday.
I mean, it's still the Midwest, but it's different.
My Midwest is jump in my Jeep and go get ice cream. I had to walk everywhere because my car cost $80 to park in the garage. We're going to talk about that.
Let me be a guest on that. Episode. We talk about Midwest.
I'm not saying it wasn't fun. Chicago was a blast. I'm just saying it is a way different Midwest than the Midwest I am residing in right now.
He's not wrong.
We were like both Midwest, just different versions. I'm just saying. So we're gonna talk about that on Thursday's show. So anyway, well, we appreciate our patrons. If you want to get on that, patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Social media at @Scott for Scott, at Ricky Nibs for Ricky, at BeOurGuest Mike for me. Subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube. And this Sunday night, we're taking your calls. We're finally back. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a call on Facebook and YouTube. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday talking some more Disney, so be sure to come on back for more Disney fun. So for Scott and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Save that dog.
All right, I have an answer for someone who asked, from Relaxing Strolls, can I fit a croque madame sandwich from the Riviera in your purse for take home? Depends on the size of the purse.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't even know why you would take one home, man. Just slam it in the
moment. I'm saying you would never make it past the door.
Let's be honest. I had my book bag with me. I may or may not on this weekend, whatever it was, past weekend. I didn't take a croque madame, but I may or may not have taken my leftover waffles from Ale and Compass with me and put those in my bag. So I did have purse waffles.
Dan says maybe you're not Midwest. Like Elizabeth and I talk about this all the time, Mike. We're
we are so Midwest.
I feel like you guys are Southern.
I'll take that.
It's close. I'll give you that.
Elizabeth jokes about that all the time. Like,
I think Chicago's Great Lakes.
It's Midwest, homie. So where do you think I live then?
Great Lakes. I mean, are you not
in the Midwest?
You think Michigan's in the Midwest? Aren't you like Great Lakes with like Ohio?
If you pull up a map, like Michigan is in the Midwest.
See, that always cracked me up because we learned about that in school. I always considered like, especially like Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, all that's like Great Lakes.
No, we're Midwest. I mean, you can call us Great Lakes. I mean, Michigan is the Great Lakes state, but
yeah, because you guys have all those big lakes.
Yeah,
but we ran past Comiskey, not Comiskey, but whatever it's called. I forget. It's got news.
I call it Comiskey still.
What's it called now? I don't even know what it's called.
I think it's gone through like 4 name changes.
I know.
If Yerkes was on here, he would tell us.
I know. I got to text him back because I fell asleep.
Well, maybe Dan can. He's got his socks hat.
I know.
Photo here.
And that, by the way, the socks, the 80 socks logo is the proper logo.
Dude, I love the 80 socks logo.
There's so many of those flags around Chicago, and I love that logo. Yeah. Big 10 is Midwest. No,
yes, they are.
Midwest is the Big 12.
Besides the fact that Rutgers, and Penn State is in the Big 10 now, but
SEC is the South. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Guaranteed rate. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Guaranteed rate.
Wasn't it like a phone company, or maybe Guaranteed Rate is a phone company? It sounds like a bank, but
Guaranteed Rate Stadium.
Just call it the Comiskey.
Can you go close?
Are we podcasting with a dog?
Nope. I gotta go close Mallory's door because she left for cheerleading practice. She left a retainer on her bed and she doesn't want Riley to eat her retainer. I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh.
I can see Riley eating her retainer. Hang on, I'll be right back.
That'd be very bad. Sorry, I had to go shut the blinds so that my dog didn't bark while we recorded the next podcast. So
all right, Ricky. So now it's you and me. When does the when does the sun set where you're at?
Oh, like what time today?
Because it's depressing how early it sets.
I know
now.
it's
7.
super depressing.
It's about to set here in a little bit. 7:01 for me.
Let me see here. Hold on.
Makes me sad.
I know, it makes me sad too. It's been setting earlier. It doesn't set as early as it did when I lived in Missouri, though. Sunset is at 7:01.
Oh, we have the same. We must be like lined up pretty similar.
We must, yeah. So, yeah, it makes me sad. Trust me.
U.S. Cellular. That's what it was.
Wait. I take that back. That's like Buena Vista. Shows you how often I have Orlando in there. Okay, my sunset is at 7:07. My sunset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Riley's confused because when I jump up after the podcast, we go to.
Oh, poor Riley.
And it bums me out though because like I should be able to play golf after work.
I know, right?
Now I can't because the sun sets at 7:00.
I know, it's awful.
Oh, I hate that.
I hate it too.
All right.
Also, I would like to know what you think is strange, Rhonda, because I've had some really interesting snacks in my purse, so I don't really know. I mean, I think a waffle is pretty strange. I mean, I think the strangest is an entire No Way Jose, but that's probably the most.
Yeah, I think that wins.
Yeah, I think that wins.
I think $15 for Rise is too cheap. They'll make that line.
I was really surprised how cheap that was. Yeah.
But I am on principle not buying it because I've already paid $100 to get in the park.
Mm-hmm.
That's just principle. I still think it's a good deal though.
I get that.
We'll see though. Okay, 1981.
Hey.
I should put on leg warmer. Actually, I do have leg warmers on. I have compression sleeves.
Lay down, baby. Lay down. Good.
Riley's sitting here looking at me. She's like literally.
I feel like I got to be on the 1983 episode now.
I know, right? Same.
Mine blew past already. I'm done. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1981 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Congratulations on making it through yet one more work week here in October. This is a fun time of the year. You got the baseball playoffs going on. Hopefully your team is doing well. We've got football going on. Hopefully your team is going well there. We will not bring that up for the NFL for Scott here in a second because he's having some heartbreak. My Mizzou Tigers, same thing. But hey, we have football as long as you just don't pay attention to your local teams. But it's a great time of the year. You got fall festivals and all kind. Best part of this year, cooler weather and good food. We can all appreciate that no matter what our sports are doing. So let's just all get behind that. And Wine and Dine Race Weekend coming up. Before you know it, it's going to be here. A lot of us going to be on planes and carrying our sneakers down to Walt Disney World. And hopefully we can find out where we're running one of these days. Look, I'm asking that because I'll make it happen this week. I just want to know what the course is. Disney, where are we going? Tell us. Anyway, let's have some fun talking about our recent trips and some of the Disney news of the week. Joining me today from the mouseforless.com, where if something happens, that's where you find out about it. So make sure you subscribe over there. We have Ricky. Ricky, what's up? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And I am in Walt Disney World, hopefully at the Boo Bash tonight. So if you see Cruella DeVille, might be me. Just saying.
Nice.
It might be me. I have my Cruella costume ready to go. So we'll see.
I watched the new Cruella film on the flight back from Delta, and I loved it. I thought it was so good.
I thought it was
so good.
That's what I'm dressing up as. I'm dressing up as the Emma Stone version of Cruella, and I'm so excited. So yes, it's gonna be awesome.
You think you'll be the only Cruella?
No, I definitely don't. But
what about like Ricky?
No.
Ricky?
No. I did think about dyeing my hair though, since I do have the curly hair. Like I did think like, oh, I could just dye it, and then I was like, no, I bought a wig. I totally bought a wig. I was like, I'm not dyeing my hair.
Scott, she should totally dye her hair, right? She's totally yeah, totally. All right, I dare you.
No, yeah, you can dare me all you want. I've got a wig in the other room, so
take the wig back, just dye your hair. It'd be awesome.
No,
come on.
No.
All right. Also joining us, he's not dyeing his hair. We have hashtag Scotty G from up in Michigan, where it's too dark to golf. So let's do some podcasting. What's up, Scott?
Let's do some podcasting. You talked about the mid-October, the cool weather, the great food. I do have to give a shout out. So I feel like right now starts birthday season for a lot of listeners and friends of the show. So I got to give a shout out to the trifecta that starts today. Happy birthday to Georgia, our buddy Georgia. Today's his birthday. Mine is tomorrow.
Hey!
And our homeboy Maddie B rounds it up on the 17th. So that's a trifecta of some awesome dudes right there. I'm kind of myself as an awesome dude.
I mean, that's debatable, but
awesome. That is those
one time. It should have been this year because it's a weekend. The three of us are going to go down, and we're just going to go hard at Epcot for our birthdays one year. I'm just telling you.
Nice.
Okay, real quick, since we really, we have a little time on today's show. Let's tackle that topic to talk about right off the top of the show, because I've always wanted to talk about this. And we're going to jump into talk about Ratatouille and that experience and some of the stuff from our trip a couple weekends ago. People that wear the shirts and go hard at Epcot for their, 21st birthday, or like, oh, we're, drinking around the world. Now we've had this discussion in the past, but I think the idea back home 18 months prior is always tremendously more fun.
Yes.
Than how it turns
Absolutely.
out. Like, by the time people hit Italy, depending on which way you're going, Italy or Germany or, anywhere mid stride there, Japan, things start to go south quickly.
I agree with you.
I mean, how many times have you seen that, Scott? I mean, it seems like, I don't care if I check off that box anymore.
Yeah, it goes south for sure. And depends on where you start, because like you always want to start on an end. So Mexico always makes the most sense to start.
Yes.
And then my problem is, Mike, then I just don't ever want to leave Mexico.
Right, exactly.
like you put me in La Cava and like, oh, I'm good. And then Norway, all right. I guess I'll get some kind of beer from Norway. I agree. I always love the shirts that have like every food and wine booth on there too. Like,
oh my gosh, can you imagine eating it or drinking something at every food and wine? But no, that's way too much. That's way too much.
It's tough. And it's got to depend on the time of year. Like I feel like 10 out of 12 months now, it's going to be blazing hot. And this is it. I'm with you, Mike. It sounds like a great idea on paper. You're playing with all your friends in your group. We're going to do this in this order. And then the time comes, you got your matching shirts. It's 120 degrees outside, and
exactly drinking around the world in July is like the worst idea ever. I feel like that's just no good things can come from that. Nothing.
Yeah, what I've always realized is like on a group chat, when you're sitting in your 68-degree house, in July, when you're like putting this all together and you're sending each other funny GIFs about how it's going to look, and you're just like, this is going to be the best idea. We're going to get a drink at every country, maybe even the food and wine booths when we're down there in the fall. Yeah. I mean, I've seen this fall apart. We've all seen this fall apart is every single.
It's fun to see them at the bus stop though, like, and have a conversation with them. Like, so what's the plan? Cause they got their shirts, right? Like, so what's the plan? How are you guys going to attack it? And then you just happen like to see them later in the day, like passed out, like, or just like giving up.
Like, where's Bob? Where's Bob? I don't know. We haven't seen him since Japan.
He was part of our group.
We had a Bob.
It is fun. That's why like Walt Disney World is great for so many things, but like the people watching is up at the top of the list, and those are great people to watch right there.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. We got to add a couple birthdays here. Alfred's is on October 28th, and Nicola down in Australia.
I'm telling you,
is on October
this kicks off birthday season, Mike. Like Georgia kicks it off today. Because then it just goes on. I know Phil and Teresa have birthdays. Florence has a birthday coming up. Like it's crazy.
Happy birthday, y'all. Okay, so let's jump in and talk about Ratatouille a little bit, because we had so much going on. The shows were both 50 minutes last week. Didn't want to go too long on those because we did, we put out a lot of shows. I try to respect your time. Ratatouille though. So what did we think? So Scott, take the first stab at it. We had the virtual queue. You got me in. Yep. I trusted you. We worked out fine. So first impression. Yeah,
actually, I'll talk about the virtual queue a little bit because it slightly changed where you can create a party ahead of time. So that's kind of cool because we've been in instances where like I've been friends with someone on my Disney experience, but they're with another group and I'm not friends with theirs. So when I go to get the virtual queue, I get it for my friend, but then he misses out or they miss out on all theirs. So it kind of creates a mess. So I liked this creating a party. So like I knew like Mike, Beth, Marlessa, Elizabeth, like we're all going to be together. So I specifically clicked the group and then I just waited for 7 o'clock to roll around and then boom, it was like magic. I got it. Group 88 or something. That kind of scared me at first. It seemed kind of high, but Ratatouille can load a lot more if you're comparing it to like Rise of the Resistance. So it really wasn't that bad of a queue. So I thought the virtual queue process seemed very similar, except you had to create a group, which I think was a great addition. Now, Mike, did you try that day? Like, or were you out running, just counting on me to get it for us?
No, I trust the Force, and I trust Scott Gardner when it comes to trip planning. I did not even think about it, because the night before I knew you were going for it, and I've just learned that. I mean, honestly, a lot of life is like this, and I think with Disney trip planning, this can be true too. Is that, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen can cause problems, and if you just have a point person and kind of trust the system, you're good at it. And like, I knew I was going to be on a run. I knew we'd be fine. And so
I agree with that too. Sometimes having too many could cause some problems. So so our day started off great. You know, we got the boarding pass. You get super excited. We're going to do a new Walt Disney World attraction, and then, not to go too into the details on the trip report, but we ended up having breakfast at Cape May Cafe that morning, which was quite awesome. You know, it was kind of family style breakfast.
Yeah. So I want to jump into that real quick. I totally forgot about that. I'd never been to Cape May. Okay. Now, a lot of times folks have, you know, talked about going to Cape May. I've always wanted to go there for dinner. I'm never going to go there for dinner with my family, because I'm telling you what, like, it is a minor miracle for my family to walk past Cape May Cafe because of the smell. Okay. Because it's pungent. It smells like seafood. I mean, you got to agree with me, right? You should be nodding.
I can smell it right now, actually.
Riding on the bus right now. Yeah, you should be nodding right now. Yeah, it smells like seafood, whether you like it or not. It does. Okay, so my family doesn't like seafood. They're from the Midwest. You know, they're not from Boston or anything. So they're just like, can't take it. I like seafood. So I'm just like, too bad I don't get to go. But Scott made this ADR for breakfast. I'm telling you what, this breakfast was smoking, man. We were at a great table, a lot of great conversation with great friends. Here's how he hit me. He hit me hard, like family style. I know I'm weird. I like the reconstituted eggs. I know they're super cheap. People dog on those. I could eat pounds of reconstituted eggs.
Oh my gosh.
You like Disney eggs. I like those. You got your meat, your sausage, your bacon. You had oh man, those rolls, Scott, that they brought out first.
Rolls were awesome. And then we got the fancy butter to go with them too, by request.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Thanks to Beth for getting that.
So what I was disappointed, not disappointed in, like, I went into the meal thinking like it was gonna be like, because we had Crystal Palace the day before. I don't know why I had the thought it was gonna be like buffet style. But family style worked really well. I was still and I was still able to get my omelet, because I remember I loved the omelet station at Cape May. So I asked our server, I'm like, is there any chance I can get like a custom omelet? Boom, no problem. You know, I think 3 or 4 of us ended up ordering omelets, you know. Or you could do eggs to order if you wanted like some eggs, you know, over easy or whatever, like over medium. Like, it worked out perfect. And I just love having that additional option to the family style. So it was great. And Beth in the chat, like, who was with us, like, she just made a great comment. Like, the value was awesome too. Like, it was like $25, I think, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was $22 with your AP. I could not believe it, because we were talking about this rolling out. If you go to it was around, I think it was 22. It might have been 25. Either way, by the time you go to a counter service place and get a meal and a soda, you're talking almost that amount of food. You know, that amount of price. And I mean, you got to pay gratuity, but still, like, you're also, I mean, we pounded a lot of food. I mean, I can eat at breakfast when it's all you can eat family style. So I got my money. You don't usually hear say, oh man, that's high value at a breakfast counter or table service place. Cape May is where it's at right now. Go there. So good stuff, because we started there. So now, again, here's the deal. We've had this conversation before with Rise the Resistance, right? If you have an upper level, say we had 88 for our virtual queue. So you're not immediately going back to France and getting on the ride. You got to kind of plan out your day, and you got to kind of always check in, like, okay, where are we at? So how did kind of, Scott, walk us through how our day unfolded? And then when we get there, Ricky kind of gives the talk about what you thought of the ride.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the great thought, right? Like, hey, we got this later boarding group. We can do some other stuff at Epcot or go through World Showcase. Like, we kind of planned it, you know, to eat at Cape May. You were at Pop, so you can skyline over, you know. Then we ended up just walking in the World Showcase. It was a beautiful day. Friendship boats were out. It was awesome. But so we were just kind of casually ironically, we just had this awesome breakfast, but I had the idea like, well, let's do some food and wine booths too.
Yeah, okay, that's where I was like, okay, whoa, because I would do, I think I overdid it at breakfast. Like we were gonna do like food and wine. I was like, oh my god,
I tried to hold back a little bit on breakfast just because of that.
Oh my gosh,
because I knew I wanted to do like some cider flights and some beer flights. But so we just did like a casual day of World Showcase. I'll kind of get into some of the details, but one thing I really wanted to do, and we did instantly, was the merchandise for the new attraction Ratatouille is not actually in the pavilion, because if it was, I think it would just be a madhouse, because we'll get to that a little later. It's very crowded in the area. It's the hot spot, right? But similar to what Magic Kingdom was doing on the first, is that they had a virtual queue for Ratatouille merchandise, kind of in the world. What is it called, Mike or Ricky? The World Showplace.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we went up there. We put our number in. Elizabeth did it for all 5 of us, and we're like group number like 270. We're like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So we walked to Canada. I got a cider flight. We went to the Appleseed booth where like the Canada.
That booth is amazing.
Yeah, that booth is awesome, by the way. Yeah, the Appleseed booth is sweet.
Yes, it's so good. Yes.
And we're in there, and then boom, we got called.
Wow.
For the merchandise. It was super quick. So Mike, I know you're not like the biggest like merchandise guy, even though I always see you wearing nothing but Mizzou or Disney stuff. But today you got Chicago. For those Chicago merchandise on.
He's gonna throw it in your face today. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not wearing Mizzou or Disney.
But Ricky, I don't know if you did this at all, but like I thought the merchandise was awesome. They had like some pass holder specific things like magic bands, pins, like the usual stuff, but they had awesome ornaments. Mike is just trying to show off his shirt while I'm trying to talk, trying to be distracting. It's Friday. We're having fun, right?
Yeah, right.
But I thought the merchandise was in there was really cool. We spent a bunch of money, bought some shirts for our daughter Emily. Elizabeth and I got a pass holder shirt. Mike, did you care for any of the merchandise in there, or you were just kind of just hanging out?
I would have bought the hat where Remy peeks out the top, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, what am I doing with this dumb hat? Like, see, that's the kind of thing and plus the thing is, in the time we were in that building, which was probably about 17 minutes, Tennessee had scored 3 touchdowns against the Mizzou defense.
Right. Mike wasn't in the best spirits.
No.
It was a brutal Saturday morning in Como. So
yeah. Beth in the chat just made a good point though, that that must have been like an opening weekend kind of deal, because the merchandise has already moved to the Creation Shop.
Got it.
So
you want to talk about the place that's gotten all my money? It's the Creation Shop. So
let's talk about that a little bit, because we did spend some time there.
I have spent more money in the Creation Shop than I have at Walt Disney World in a long time, which is good for Disney, bad for my wallet. So
which is interesting, because I went in there and I didn't see anything that I needed. But go ahead. What did you find?
Okay, so I went to the Creation Shop right the weekend after it opened. So if you haven't been in there yet, which I assume most people haven't, it is the updated Mouse Gear. So it's the new version of Mouse Gear. Mouse Gear is officially closed. And it's a really light and airy space now. It's not as dark as the old Mouse Gear was. There's a lot of windows and things like that. They have some really cool murals and artwork that are up on the walls and everything. So they've done a really great job with this space. As Pam has mentioned, I think before, the smell unfortunately is not gone. But it's still a really.
But what's with the guy like the faceless like mannequin like that?
Yes, the faceless mannequins are a little freaky. I will admit that. Definitely not the most. They're definitely scary, but not as scary as the girl chair that's at the boardwalk, but that's beside the point. So yeah, I really think that they have some great lines of merchandise right now at the Creation Shop. So they did have some 50th anniversary merchandise, which I did buy a fantastic 50th anniversary like jacket. Again, I would like to blame my brother. He has made me purchase both of the items that I ended up buying. But he's a really bad influence. So I bought the jacket. And then the weekend before when we were there, there's this great line of Epcot merchandise that they have right now. And they have 2 different lines, actually. One is kind of a white and silver line. And then the other line is more of like a geometric pattern, colorful line. And I got this really very soft sweatshirt that they have. It's black with the Epcot logo on it, and it is the most comfortable thing. I'm like, it's been too hot out here in Georgia to wear it yet, but like I'm dying to put this sweatshirt on because it is just the most comfortable hoodie I think I've ever bought. So the Creation Shop. I don't know what it is about there. Oh, they also do so you can buy your merchandise on the app and then just walk out, which is nice too. So it's a really simple process to do it. You open the app, you say I'm at the Creation Shop, and then you scan the barcode, and then it will add in any of your discounts that you have. So like I have an annual pass, so it added in the annual pass discount automatically because that's in my Disney Experience app. And then all I had to do was put it, they have these clear plastic bags. You put it in the plastic bag, and then they have these stations that you go to. There's like 2, I think, in the inside, and you go to the station and you tell them this is the items that I bought. They check it off on their little iPad thing that they have, and then you walk out. It's so much easier. You can still pay at a traditional cashier as well, but I was just ready to go, so I just did it the easy way.
One thing I might want to add to the Creation Shops, some listeners might be thinking about, well, Ricky, what did you create? Or what can you create at the Creation Shop?
No,
and the answer is nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. Yes.
Nothing.
You can create a dent in your wallet is what you can create, because that's what's happened with me. But I think the name is dumb. But yeah, there's nothing you can create in the Creation Shop. So
even if they would have just called it like Disney's Creations.
Yeah,
you know
I know. Or Epcot's Creations or something.
It's just a little misleading because I go in there thinking like, oh man, I'm going to create this awesome like custom Epcot shirt, you know?
Yeah,
and, like,
no, you ain't creating nothing.
But you can't.
No, yeah.
I know. I thought, and the whole thing was like, so I went in there. The only time I got in there was Ricky and I ate with some of the travel agents at Space 220 that night of the one night. And I went up there after dinner and peeked in there real quick and just walked through real fast. Didn't really need anything. But it reminded me of World of Disney, honestly, and Disney. Yeah. It looked to me, it looked exactly like World of Disney, just on a smaller scale, but more open, like with lots of windows and stuff, and freaky mannequins. But the thing was, I wanted to go in Club Cool, but there was a super long line.
There's a huge line. Okay,
dang, I can get in Club Cool, but I get in the store.
Let me kind of explain why there's a long line for Club Cool right now. Besides the fact that it is extremely popular because it's back. And people are like, ooh, I want to go to Club Cool and drink Beverly, which I don't know why. But anyway, there are not as many stations for soda as there was in the old Club Cool. So I think before there was like 4 or 5 little pods, and there was like 3 soda stations on each pod or something like that. With this, there's like just a wall of soda fountains, and that's it. And I think there's maybe like 6 to 8 fountains. So they cut down on the number of fountains that are available to guests. So that's also causing a very long line. So if you want to go to Club Cool, I'm going to suggest don't do it at the beginning or middle of the afternoon. I'm going to say kind of put it off until.
And the fact that a cast member mops the floor after every use of the.
Thank you.
No,
yes.
I don't know if that's really happening, but
actually
it should be,
they are mopping, because I was talking to the cast member because somebody had spilled. There was a family with I think a lot of little ones, and they actually went over there and they mopped up before they let somebody else go over, because that they were like, we don't want that problem. So yeah, they're definitely trying.
Well, that's not very nostalgic. I mean,
sticky shoes.
Club Cool should be like, you stick your feet to the floor. Yeah.
You should have to have a little effort to get out of there, to move your feet. Okay, so there's a few things I want to talk about outside of Epcot too. So let's hit Remy. So we get back to real quick. The way we wrote out, because I've always joked that Baseline Tap House was built as the adult holding pen.
Oh yeah, yes,
it is. Resistance boarding group, right? They built that. They knew what they were doing. They didn't tell any of us.
No, but
they were suckers. Like people are going to sit here and drink beer until their group's called.
Yes.
You know what? That's what the Odyssey was for us on this day. And it was great because it gave us
a fantastic space. Agreed.
we could get tables.
Yep.
We sat down, a bunch of us sat down and just kind of, we don't get to see each other enough. We talk about this many times. We talked about this on this past Monday show that I had a guest from Dallas. He talked about how he doesn't get to see his friends. They're spread out all around the country. They all work in aviation, but they met at Walt Disney World and just hung out at the pool, and they just got to hang out together. A lot of times we do that. Scott's in Michigan, right. Ricky's in Georgia, Pam's in Pittsburgh, I'm in St. Louis. We just got to, Dr. Kai was with us and we did, he's down in Arkansas. We got to hang out and we got to just hang out and talk until our groups came up. And, we had wings, we had, some people got beer flights, and it was just a good time hanging out in there. And that gave us that kind of common area. But then our group came up and we went back to ride Ratatouille. Now, I will say first impressions getting back there, the area is gorgeous. It's beautiful. But on this day, on October 2nd, it was a nut house back there. It was crazy. It was madness. So Scott, take it over from there. What do you got?
Yeah, I agree. I will say though, I believe the ride went down a little bit because Dr. Kai, they had a earlier boarding group and they kept getting delayed. And so we didn't even get on to 4 o'clock. I think it was kind of later in the day. So that might have created some of the chaos, and you got the new crepe place that's open, but it is gorgeous. And
it's beautiful.
And I just thought I don't know, with Rise of the Resistance, we've had good luck where we got our boarding group called and we basically kind of walked on. Now I've had both spectrums. I remember I was with Wade and Shelley once and it took 2 hours to get on, but I wasn't expecting an hour long wait to be honest, when our group got called. How did that throw you off at all, Mike?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I've had both too. I'm the same way. I've walked right on and I've waited.
Never done that.
I was with you, Scott, one time when the kid behind us had an emergency. We had to give him a thermal detonator. Whole nother story. That's probably a story. Episode. But the thing is, here's the deal between Ratatouille and Rise. Rise, you don't see where you're going in the queue. You're in caves. Yes. You're making blind turns. You have no idea where you're going. I was getting a little fired up. Again, Mizzou was getting crushed by Tennessee, one of the worst losses at this time. So I was not in a great mood. You could see where the line was, and they tease you. When you get to a point where you hit the touch point to verify that you do have a valid boarding group, and you get to go into the building. You're like, oh yeah. Then they're like, okay, now get back. Then you go back outside. You go through all these switchbacks, kind of like a Six Flags.
I will say the switchback section was kind of brutal. It was kind of hot that day. But I tell you, when we went back in the queue, though, it was awesome. They had that gorgeous wallpaper. I don't want to be too spoilery, but there's some cool effects that happen inside the queue as well.
Yes, there are.
You could definitely probably watch some videos online to see what those are if you want to see it. But so once you got back in the queue, it was awesome. But you're right about Rise of Resistance. There's so much stuff to look at too. It's kind of air conditioned in that queue. But here, there is an outdoor section that can be brutal on a hot day.
And the thing was, everybody was wanting to be back in there. So 2 different lines of photo pass people by that fountain. Yes. So you could, and I couldn't tell what line, where the thing is, I had never been in this line. So I had a hard time judging where I was going. Was I, for a while, I thought that I was in the line for I thought my line was going around the crepe building, but that was actually the line for the crepes. Right. So then I was like, oh, at least we're not doing that. So it's just one of those things. I didn't, with Rise, you're just glad to be in the cave. You don't know where you're going. You're just following it's like my marathon on Chicago. I didn't know where I was going to Chicago. I just followed the herd. Right. And it was finally you get there, right? That's exactly the philosophy for life. Just follow the herd. You'll get there eventually. So we got there. We get up there. The queue's awesome. Like Scott said. Ricky, thoughts on the attraction? You've been on it in Paris.
I have.
So you're fancy.
I am.
So, okay, real quick, I'll just give my general thoughts. I thought it was a great Disney ride. This is the stuff Disney needs to do. It's not lighting your hair on fire. No. It's not flipping you upside down. Not making you puke. No. And it's just a great 2021 dark ride. It has new technology. It tells a great story. There was a point I told Scott, I took my glasses down and I was like, okay, that's real. I was having a hard time telling what something was practical effect. If it was a screen, it was when you were in, I don't want to get too many spoilers, but it was fun. It was a little shorter than I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it may be a little longer just because in 2021, I thought they're trying to make things longer, but it was fine. I came out content. I was happy. It was a great Disney ride. Was it the best theme park ride of all time, to rival Rise of the Resistance? No, but I don't think it needs to be. I think it was a great, great Disney ride. So Ricky, what do you say to that? Because you've been on it a couple times.
I have. Yeah. So, I agree with you. It's not it's not like the end all be all ride. I mean, that's not what the point of the ride is to be in the first place. It's to be a nice family attraction for Epcot, because, you know, that's something that Epcot, in a weird way, they kind of are missing out on. I mean, I feel like Epcot either has, you know, really slow rides or really thrilling rides, and there's no like in between. I feel like Ratatouille is kind of an in between attraction. You know, there's definitely some thrilling parts in it, but it's also good for the entire family. So and you're right, there are many practical effects in this attraction that are real, they're in front of you, but they blend very seamlessly with it is in 3D. So you do have to wear, you know, 3D glasses. But you know, it really does blend very, very seamlessly. It does not as far as how amazing it is, but it does kind of remind me a little bit of like a Spider-Man at Universal, that both have like the screens and the practical effects, and they both tell the story seamlessly together. So I feel like that it kind of reminded me a little bit of that when I first wrote it, just as far as the technology was concerned. But again, I think it's a great attraction for Epcot. I think it was very needed. I think it's very necessary. And, you know, it's a great family attraction. So I think it's a nice addition for the park.
Yeah, it's an e-ticket in World Showcase, which is awesome. And grandma can ride it with the grandkids, you know, and everybody's going to laugh and everybody's going to have a good time. Nobody has to sit this one out, you know, for the most part. I mean, if you have serious motion sickness kind of issues, you may sit it out, but 95% of guests are going to ride this. So Scott, what did you think about it?
Yeah, there's not much more I can add that you two haven't hit already. Like it is a great addition to Epcot and World Showcase. And Mike, I couldn't agree more with like, it's good for the family, right? Like you worry about children sometimes or younger kids, like in World Showcase being bored sometimes. I love World Showcase. It's like my favorite area to be, but sometimes there could be that boring part where someone just wants to do an attraction, right? That's not Impressions de France. But now you have this option, right? There's a cool ride. I mean, you got Mexico, you got Norway, now you got France. I would just love to see him like somehow squeeze in a couple more, right? Wouldn't that be so awesome?
Right. Yeah, I would. It would.
You get a ride in Japan, that'd be so awesome.
That'd be so sweet. Or Germany.
Yeah. The one thing that I do miss, that I wish they would have done at this at Epcot, which they did do in France, I wish they would have had the restaurant after you got off, and that part really, honestly, because at the end scene you see the restaurant, and you know, there's the finale part, and you do see the restaurant, and that is the restaurant in Paris. That's exactly the restaurant that you go to, because I ate there. And so it's like, it's a really cool experience to see that in the attraction, and then immediately go and dine at the restaurant that you saw in the attraction. Unfortunately, I guess just the way they did it here in Epcot or whatever, they were unable to put the restaurant in, which makes me sad, because like that was one of the coolest parts. You know, you were on the attraction and then you got to eat with Remy. You know, it was just, that part was so cool. So I wish they would have done that. But I haven't tried the creperie, like the sit down location. I did try the counter service, which was very good. And I very much enjoyed the Nutella and chocolate crepe. But yeah, that was the only thing that I wished they had been able to do, but I get why they couldn't. So
but what's cool though is that you have those dining options still, right? So like after the attraction, like my group, we ended up eating at Chefs de France. Like it was kind of like a cool thing. Like this is our first time experience the new attraction, and now we're gonna go sit down and Chefs, which just made like for the whole experience, right, that much better. Like we're just gonna spend a nice evening here in Paris.
Yeah, it is nice.
So let's save Space 220, because Pam dined with us and she's a little bit under the weather this week, so she couldn't join us. She sends her regrets, and she tried up until the point we recorded, but she was unable to really sustain to be able to record. So we're thinking of Pam. But a couple of things I want to talk about, and I want us to kind of throw in like a wild card thing from the trip. And the one thing I want to talk about, because I think this really can help people. This is a question that we get a lot, and I haven't had a good answer for this one until now. For right now, post-COVID, is that we get the question a lot, especially this time of year: where do I watch my football team, right? Or where do I watch a sporting event? And it's always been go to the ESPN club on the boardwalk, but it's still closed, which I can't believe they've kept this place closed during football season, right? This is a gold mine, right? This time of year, but it's closed. And so we did a pool day with Scott and a bunch of us kind of hung out at the resort, and we were hungry at the end of the day. It's one of those days, like it's late. We're like, oh man, we got hungry at like 7:00. We got to eat. So we decided to go to Disney Springs, and we all decided to eat at Splitsville. Now, I'd eaten at Splitsville once before. We did a podcast.
Yeah, we did. Long time ago.
It's where I met, first time I met Florence Porter.
Oh, yeah.
We bowled with Masayo from
right.
Japan. That was fun. She'd never bowled. I remember we were bowling with Paige had a broken arm at the time. She had to bowl the wrong way, but it was before a podcast cruise. So I'd been there, but here's the thing. Like we went there late and we didn't bowl. We were just hungry. But I'm telling you what, people say this and it is true. The food there is really good. Like I had Steve Forster and I got the same thing. I got a Western, like Texas burger. I should not have eaten that whole thing. It was huge. It had everything on, like bacons and onion rings and barbecue sauce, and it was huge cheese. Oh, mercy. And the fries, it was so good. And here's the ironic thing, right? We go in, we check in. Did we have an ADR? Did we just walk up?
We did a walk up. We couldn't get an ADR, but we did walk up. Yep, and it was no issue. I think it's what you're getting to here.
Yes, but when we walk up, they ask us, okay, because here's the thing we worried about, right? This was the night, if you're any kind of a football fan, Tom Brady was playing in a football game where he was going back to New England, right? So he plays for the Bucks. And so this is going to be his first game back in New England.
And he was going to set a record for the most passing yards. It was like this huge show. Right?
NBC, they're running commercials, like it was, the Super Bowl, and for a lot of people, it is a dramatic game, right? So we're like, oh man, we're not going to get, we really didn't care to watch the game. We just wanted to eat some just regular like burgers, fries, pizza. We didn't care. We just wanted to eat. So we go in at the check-in saying like, do you want to watch the game? We're like, we don't care. We just want to eat. Really. We don't care. So they're like, okay, cool. If you don't want to watch the game, we can seat you right now. We're like, okay, good. They walk us upstairs. We go up these steps or up an escalator. We get up there. How many TVs could we watch that game on? We were eating.
So dinner. I counted like 6 or 7 from my viewpoint.
There were TVs everywhere. Right? You couldn't miss it. And some of the TVs did, it was just crazy. But that is a good place with good food, drinks. Kids can run around like crazy. You don't have to worry about them being quiet. They can be, you could bowl, you could not bowl. You can play darts, you could play pool. That is the place to go watch the game with your buds. And if you want to have a big group meetup, that's the place to go. And
I agree.
I liked it.
Like we didn't even do bowling, and like that's another awesome activity you could do. Like I was so thrown off by that, Mike, because she asked, like, do you care about the football game? Like, nope, we just want to eat, hang out with our friends, And
then you ended up watching the game. That's bizarre.
So there must have been like a big, I think we were talking about it, Mike, right? Like there must have been like a huge screen TV where like
maybe
really focused on the game, but I was fine watching it on their like 27-inch TVs that were hanging from the ceiling. Like those worked out perfectly fine. Yeah. The sushi was good. The pizza was good. All of it was so good. Like that's a place I'd never think about. And like, now I'm like dying to go back. It was awesome.
Yeah. Cause it was one of those times where you're trying to think outside the box, right? We were hungry. We couldn't find an ADR, cause it was last minute. It was Sunday night, I think, or
it was Sunday night.
Yeah, because Sunday Night Football. And so we're like, oh man. So we're thinking, maybe the port, what's that? The City Works. We were like, maybe there, but we came upon Splitsville, worked out well. So that's kind of my bonus wild card thing I want to throw in. If you're looking for a place to watch the game, you're down there, you just need some, because sometimes we have all this fancy food. You have all the seafood, you have all these fancy pastas. And you know what? At the end of a trip, sometimes a good burger and fries, like a bar burger, oh, it's the best thing ever. And I'm telling you, it was solid. So Ricky, what about you? Throw in like a wild card thing from the weekend that maybe people could take a tip and help them plan a trip.
Okay, so have I talked about the confectionery yet?
I don't think so.
All right, let's go.
I never went in there. I feel so bad. I didn't get my Uncle Orville ice cream.
Oh no. Okay, all right. So the confectionery has been completely redone and it is amazing. Oh my gosh, let me tell you. Before, if you remember, it was kind of cramped and tight and you just were weaving around everybody and it was a really, really, really uncomfortable space even before COVID. So now they have opened everything up. It's very bright and airy in there again. I feel like that's a trend with what Disney's trying to do with their shops and stuff like that, which is probably smart. But they have taken different areas and they've morphed them. So now there is there's the area where in the middle where they have all the bakery items. So you go there and you pick out which bakery items that you want. They write it on they put it on a slip of paper and they give it to you. And then that when you're done overall, that's when you go to the cashier and then they'll give you your bakery treats. And they have quite a few new bakery treats because the confectionery is actually sponsored by Mars, which owns M&M, Skittles, that kind of thing.
Pump up the volume.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, thanks, Mike. So they have like a ton of new treats that have like M&Ms in them or Skittles or things like that. They also have some treats for the 50th, of course. They have a huge wall of like M&Ms and Skittles that you can, get by the pound.
That's so Instagram. I saw that. I was like, yeah, it's Instagram
right totally there. Instagrammable. 100%. They also have this thing. It's the glaciers. So I think it's the Main Street Confectionery Glaciers, which is it says it always feels nice to sip on ice. So it's a frozen refreshment. They have a blue raspberry, Powerade fruit punch, Minute Maid lemonade, Fanta orange, and a high C lime. They also have 3 specialty options as well: the orange bird, the cold lightoscope, and the cold I can't say concoction, I guess. Easy. Yeah, I know. I was trying to say it real carefully.
Back in my day, those were called ices.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of cool too. They have this fantastic like window where you can watch them make the items like the Rice Krispie treats, and you know how we love to watch that before. In the little window that they had, now they have this gigantic area where you can watch. They also have an area where you can watch them make cotton candy. But the area that I think is the most interesting, now they took over the hat shop for this, and you gotta kind of walk back there. But they have this area now, and it's Candied Popcorn. So basically, it's the Colonel Kitchen. And what you do is you can pick your popcorn. So they have right now a caramel, rainbow, butter flavored, or cheddar. Then you pick your syrups. So they have a dark chocolate, a white chocolate, and I'm guessing a milk chocolate. And then you pick a candy. I think you'd probably get just one candy with it. So, you can do M&Ms or Skittles or Snickers or Twix bars or crushed chocolate cookies. So you make your own popcorn concoction, which is really, really kind of cool that they do this. So the prices are not bad. So you get 2 toppings and a syrup, and your popcorn is $12.99. 3 toppings and a syrup is $13.99. And then additional toppings are $1. But again, it's just this really cool thing that they're doing to help make the confectionery even more spectacular. So I am a huge fan of the new confectionery. I really, really like what they've done in this space. And I definitely have a number of items that came home with me. So
I don't know about you, Mike, but when Ricky said Colonel Kitchen, I was thinking about chicken.
I know. I was thinking of all those Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Caramel Kitchen. Yes. Yeah, that's it.
That's candied chicken.
Not okay. Colonel Kitchen. Yeah, that's what it is. You're right. Okay, Colonel Kitchen. That is.
I didn't get in.
I went in there for like a half a second, took a peek, and then walked out. Like it's kind of a shame. But you know what, Mike? We'll be there in 3 weeks from today. So let's do it.
3 weeks. I'm not a big popcorn fan, but I am a baked items fan.
They have a number of baked items.
I'm getting that bathtub thing. I can't believe it. That's why I went for the 50th. It was to get the bathtub.
Oh my gosh.
That's my thing. Okay, Scott, close out one wild card thing, and then we'll just call it a weekend.
I'll try to keep it quick. I don't remember if I talked about the electric water pageant on our last week. I think I did, but I got something else, but if you can make it, they have an awesome 50th anniversary tag, so definitely do that. I may have talked about it last week though, so that's why it's not going to be my wild card. But my wild card it's going back to food because we all love food, And and I've been there. Whoa, everything's all good. So I've been there twice since the reopening, since the pandemic, and Maya Grill is back. Is all I got to say. I love this new guacamole that they have where there's they put little strawberries on top of it. Whoever would have thought of strawberries on guacamole? Trust me, people, it works. The fish tacos are back. The old menu is back. I know Mike will have some comments here in a little bit too, but it just Maya Grill the last couple of years, I felt like it was really struggling. They took off a lot of favorites, but a lot of old favorites are back now. the margarita flights. They have a couple different ones. They're fantastic. And for some margaritas, you can get them in a French press, which is like one of the coolest things where you just like press it down in a pitcher and then you pour it out. I'm telling you, I'm glad to see Maya Grill back in business again.
The dogs are loving all this food talk. I'm telling you. And, I'm the only one home. So there you go.
Yeah, Brian came home, so that's why Daisy started losing her mind. So
It's so funny. So let me see.
Do you need me to do all that again?
No, that's fine. I'll get it. No, I couldn't agree more about Maya Grill, though, because I feel like about 5 years ago, it kind of tried to get super fancy with its menu, which I get. I mean, a lot of the restaurants need to switch it up from time to time, and it was going that way. But Maya Grill was so good with not the basics, but like basically it was the basics, but like plus, you know, they have fajitas, but they were nicer fajitas. You know, they were just fancier fajitas. Right. And like I said, the fish tacos are solid. The guacamole, you know, a little bit better. The chips and salsa, everything is just so good. And their margarita flights or tequila flights, solid. And it's a great location. And the thing is, I think what we like Maya Grill, a lot of us that have been going there for almost a decade now, is that it is kind of a hidden gem. A lot of people don't think about dining at Coronado Springs. Like, you're not going to go out of your way unless you're staying there. I have, but it's just a place where you can typically get an ADR, a good solid meal. There's not a lot of good choices for Mexican food, you know, at Walt Disney World. I mean, it's kind of a struggle for a lot of that. And it's a good place and you got the smooth jazz guy and you got good service. I love it there.
And like on Wednesday's show, I believe we had a question about, like, where would you do like a resort only stay for a weekend? And like, you know what, Coronado is like, we all went deluxe, but like Coronado could be one because you got Maya Grill, you got Three Bridges now, which is like an awesome spot to just chill, hang outside. And they have 4, maybe 3, but they have like at least 3 awesome quiet pools. Then you got the dig site too. So plenty to do it at Coronado, and Maya Grill is definitely one of my favorite spots.
Yep. 2 fitness centers. You got places you could work if you had to work while you're there. You got the Barcelona bar. You got Toledo's at the top of the tower.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on there.
Dude, there's a lot going on. If only they had a Skyliner.
I've always said that, man, if they had the Skyliner, it's a deluxe resort. I'm telling you, it is. That's how it's, and they will. I mean, I have a feeling that will happen. I know nothing. I'm just guessing.
It's centrally located too. So if you have a car, that's why I feel like a Skyliner could go there. If you look at a map, it is like smack in the middle of property. Yes. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally across the street from like Epcot and the studios. Yeah. I mean, you just got right across World Drive, and you're there. I mean, it wouldn't be that much.
It's at World. It's at World and Buena Vista, which is like the 2 biggest. Like,
yes,
it's the biggest intersection on property. So,
right.
I know I was talking about Maya Grill. Now we just went deep into Coronado and how great it is, and now like, dang, I need to book a trip for Coronado.
I know. Seriously, I love that place. All right. Well, hey, that's going to do it for today's show. Hopefully we've shared some fun memories and just some fun Disney talk, but hey, maybe a tip to help you plan a better vacation when you're headed down next time. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. Don't forget, our show's always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to share some of these tips with you when it comes to planning your next trip. Just drop by the magicforless.com. That's your starting point. The magicforless.com. There's great resort guides there. There's great ideas to get the trip started. And while you're there, fill out the free, no obligation quote form. Fill out some possible dates, how many guests you're going to have, a couple of resorts that you're interested in. If you mention the show, I'll get back to you right away, give you some pricing, some availability. The conversation will start, and we'll see if that trip can happen. We'll narrow things down. We'll get you set up just right. When you book with the Magic for Less, we don't talk about this much, but you get these weekly tips in your inbox. They are awesome. It tells you, guess what? It's almost time for dining. Let's talk about some great restaurants. You know what? At this point, we got to start thinking about theme park reservations. Here's what to think about. How about magic bands? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, if you're going in the fall, here's some special things that'll be going on then. If you're going in the spring, how about this? It's fun just to get these tips, because when I book my own trips, I sign myself up for the tips. I know it's kind of dumb. I get my own tips, but they're fun because every morning I get up in the morning, it gets me excited. I hope you get excited for the tips as well. So just drop by the magicforless.com, fill out that quote form. We'll take great care of you. We love having your support. Again, over at the magicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click does mean a lot to us. So please bookmark it, use it as often as you can. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you again to our patrons for your support of the show. We could not do this without you. We put those shows out all around the world 3 to 4 times a week. It's because of our patrons. If you'd like to get that bonus show each week, just visit patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. do us a solid and follow us on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Mike. That's where you can find me. You can find Scott at Scott. You can find Ricky at Ricky Nibs. And of course, Facebook and YouTube, just look for the Be Our Guest podcast. And join us this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a ring on the phone and be on the show, and we'll talk Disney. All this stuff is up for grabs. We love talking Disney with you. That's YouTube and Facebook for the show. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with the weekend. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. We appreciate it each and every time you download or stream the show. So for Scott and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
Yay, we did. Sorry. Okay, I tried to mute and I was like, I can't find the mouse.
Yeah, and then I didn't know, like, should I just keep rolling with this?
Well, I can always edit the stuff out. And my mute's way down there. I couldn't reach it. So
yeah. Wait, did Riley bark too?
Yeah, both of them were going.
For a second. Yeah. And nobody's home, I don't think. I think Mallory got a ride to cheer.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe that was her leaving.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
Who knows? All right. Well, thanks for filling in, Scott. Thanks, Ricky.
Bye.
And thanks, everybody.
Dude, something smells really good downstairs. I'm going to text you whatever it is. I have no idea what it is, but it smells so good.
I have chicken.
Nice.
You
text me. Yeah. All right. I'm going to edit these two bad boys up. All right. I'll see you guys later.
Bye everyone.